Hello guys, and welcome to the channel. My name is Serge, and in today's video I want to talk to you guys about something. So I am fourth week working for Chrysler Jeep Dodge as a service tech, and I basically am going to be working through the week, but Friday is my last day. So today is a Monday, and yeah, basically quitting already. um the $16 per hour wage, I've looked at how much I'm gonna get paid. I have worked roughly 3 weeks, and my check is gonna be like something around like $1,700, and that's before tax. So then there's tax gotta go out of it, which is kind of crazy because I'm used to making about that in 1 week, or even more. Like I have made anywhere from 1,500 to 2,300 on a good week working for Uber and Lyft. Yeah, and on top of that, I'm not saying that like this job is like somehow like not fitting for me, like I am tired of it, like, or it is too stressful. Like, no, I'm actually enjoying it. Like, even though today I told my manager that hired me that this week is going to be my last week, I mean, I've seen a little disappointment, obviously, that I did not last that long. But she was being really like understanding. I mean, I went from making six figures to not even making 50,000 if I'm going to stay at this job. It's just, the thing about it is I just have like so many options in order to make more money that it's kind of like pointless for me to be at this job. But you might be wondering, like, why did I take it in the first place if I was making all that good money? And that is a valid question. That is actually a good question. And if you want to know the reasons, watch my first video. Second, I mentioned these type of reasons. But in short, I will tell you, I was doing this for me. This is something that I had basically wished or dreamed of working for a car dealership ever since I was like in high school. It's just I followed a different path, and before you know, like one thing led to another. I got married, then I started doing something else. I guess I could have started doing this once I got married. I don't know why, but like it just did not occur to me that I could even do that. Like maybe because at the time I was employed as a certified nurse's assistant out of all things, and I did that for 5 years, and I enjoyed my job helping people out and stuff. But something like cars was always in the back of my mind. So this is something that I do enjoy doing. So even after telling my manager that I'm going to be working my last week, right? I want to do right by them, and I told them, look, I could work an extra 2 weeks, like whatever it takes. Like I don't want to just like simply like quit. Okay, I want to make sure that if they want me to work there 2 weeks so they could get some more help or whatever, like that's fine. I would have done that. So with that being said, like it was a very hard decision on my part, because I really wanted to kind of stay and just see like where things go, because things just don't happen kind of quickly, and like like to get your pay up and everything, it takes time. It takes the manager even told me, like she said like in 60 days there would be like an evaluation, and I guess they would probably like up my pay or something, so, but usually it takes at least 90 days for them to figure out like if you're the right fit, and what are you really worth, how are you doing and things like that, so they could properly gauge your income. I'm definitely like not blaming anybody for this type of income. As a matter of fact, my wife thinks this is silly, me saying this, but it wasn't about the money. It was more like about the experience. Like, I just wanted to get in there and work with other guys, just work as a service technician. This was kind of like a dream come true for me. It's just the only thing that did not come true is the actual income itself. Because even though it's not about the money, like, this is not something I'm thinking about, right? But this is something I have to kind of like think about, right? Does that make any sense? Like, in my mind, like, I would do this work for free, like I have done, like at my property, and just recorded videos and stuff. But at the end of the day, I need to actually like make money to support a wife and 3 kids, and expenses that come with that. So if I was like straight out of high school, man, like, and I just thought about just following my passion, just going into cars or whatever, that would have been great, because I would have like climbed the career ladder. I'm pretty loyal. I would have stayed there for a very long time. I used to stay very long time at jobs, guys. So yeah, I mean, some technicians, she even told me, like, could make up to $50 an hour. That's for like flat rate hour. So if you're doing the work quicker, you'll be making, could even make double that, per hour. Like, if you could do work double the time. But I was clocking in for work when I was doing stuff, and whatever the hourly thing is on their sheet, I was actually doing it like a little bit slower than what that hourly thing is. I mean, there's ways of doing it faster. I've done it faster working for myself, but that's because there was like less steps to follow. It's not simply like, oh, I know how to change brakes, and you hop and you change brakes, right? Let's just say, right? But they want you to log in for each little job. Okay, like, let me explain the process, okay? So when a foreman hands you the paperwork for the car that needs to be done, that could be like 2, 3, 4, 5 items, sometimes even more, that needs to be done with the car. So let's just imagine the car came in for an oil change, tire rotation, multi-point inspection, okay? Just those 3. So here's that, like, what would be the process. You first get the paperwork, then you go to the computer, and you have to like pull up the special number, which is a T number. You got to pull it up for that job. The T number is also associated with the key, so you pull that up, so you get that car right there. Now you need to clock in for that job, even though you're already on the clock. Then you need to kind of like, if you're trying to like maximize your time, like how quickly you're doing stuff, then you're like looking at it like, okay, I'm doing an oil change on it, I'm gonna need a filter. So before you even bring your car in, and this was like not the way it was explained to me, but like it wasn't explained to me. You just have to like basically optimize your time, stay organized in order to like really complete jobs faster. But this is the way kind of like I do things. So once I log in for the work and I see it's an oil change, I head straight to the parts department. I give them another number, which is an RO number. And they look up a RO number, and they could see like, okay, they could see what I need. They got my ticket. They're like, well, they still ask you like, well, what do you need? And I'm like, okay, I'm doing an oil change. So they're like, okay, here's the filter. Sometimes they'll give me the oil. Sometimes they'll just give me the filter. Sometimes they'll give me the filter and an engine additive. So if they just give me, like, say, like the filter and engine additive, that means I need to fill engine oil, whatever specified according to the specifications, and that's not on the paperwork. So that means we got these like sort of like it's kind of like air hoses. They're hanging down, and inside of each one there's different types of oil, and one of them has transmission fluid, which is an ATF. So there'll be like 5W20, 020, 5W30. Okay, like that's like 3 oils that we have, and then we have the ATF. So you have to look, you have to then go to your station, log in to the special program that they're using, and then that is on top of you logging in for the job. That's like a separate one. So you go on there, and you then look up this car by the VIN number. So I gotta put the VIN number in. Then I gotta check for recalls to see if there's any recalls. If there's recalls, I gotta read up on the recalls, even though the car came in for an oil change. We must then complete those recalls. If we don't have the parts, then we order the parts for it. Let's say there's no recalls. There might be some TSBs that's on there. It means I gotta read them, because according to the TSBs, there might be something that needs to be replaced. So if there's nothing, let's say, and I'm just looking for an oil change, then I got to look at the procedure for replacing an oil change. I got to pull that stuff up. When replacing an oil change, not only that I need to know the quantities and the type of oil that's being used, I also need to look up the torque specifications for the oil filter and for the actual oil plug. And then, obviously I need to clock in for that type of work before I even do it. Like, I need to clock in for that oil job, and once I'm clocked in, I'm doing it. And then once I'm done, I need to clock out of it, and let's say like next, like clock in for like tire rotation. And then once I'm done with tire rotation, I need to clock in for multi-vehicle inspection, let's just say, right? So then each time you actually do something, then you need to clock out. But each time you're clocking out, you need to write a story. What did you do? So there's that, okay? And sometimes you could get like pretty involved, because obviously I'm just explaining something like little. So all of these like little things, they take time. And on top of that, like, I need to go find a car in a parking lot, which is easy. I gotta go get the keys. I don't get the keys right away. So when you get the paperwork, you then gotta go to a special key place, get the keys according to the number on the ticket, pull in a car from outside, and then you go from there, And sometimes you're lucky and they'll have your filter and they'll have your part, but some stuff is like they just don't have it available. Some stuff could be like next day, some stuff is like weeks out, like simple stuff, because the parts just cannot keep up, because apparently, the factory workers are on strike, so parts are very far in between, So that's not stressful, even though it seems like, like it's stressful, but it's not. It just makes the job longer. But the only way to make money as a service technician, you got to beat the clock. And I'm looking, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm making $16 an hour. That is base pay. I'm on a hybrid model, so no matter what, I'll make $16 an hour. Unlike other guys, they're only getting flat rate. If they cannot complete those jobs as quick as the book says, that means they're just basically, if it's taking them, if it says it's gonna take 2 hours, and and it takes them 2 hours, well, let's just say they were getting only $18 flat rate, like like me, which they're probably not. They're probably getting more. That means that's it. You only make $18 an hour. So the only way to really make more money per hour is to beat the clock. Okay. So there's that. And also I was calculating my income, like that was written down and stuff, at $16 an hour. Something that I noticed. Now, I may be wrong about this, but definitely I had over 100 hours. It was 104 hours. And then the income was calculated. But I did not see overtime pay in there. Time and a half. I did not even see it. Maybe when a check comes, that's going to be different. But if the overtime is not in there, I mean, would you be disappointed? Because I would. Because I was like, I actually worked lots of overtime, pulling in more than 50 hours a week. And that's because I clock in early, usually clocking in about 7:30 versus 8 o'clock. And sometimes I'm clocking out at 5, sometimes a little bit after 5, not even clocking out for lunch. So you could clearly see sometimes I'm like clocking out and it's like 9.6 hours. So 5 days, you'll definitely have over 40 hours like that. So, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, this week is going to be my last week. I realize I can't beat the clock. I also realize that in order for me to even make more money, it's gonna take lots of time. Like for me to be able to get up to, let's just say $36 an hour, probably will take upwards of 2 years. Not that they're saying that, but this is according to somebody else's income that told me their income, and I realized how long they worked. Maybe they also had previous experience, and that would be also contributing factor. So maybe if they didn't have previous experience and this was it, and they finally made it to $36 an hour, then yeah, it's gonna take me at least 2 years. But if they had previous experience and has something to do with it, that means no, it would take me way longer than 2 years to even get there. So that'd be kind of bad, considering the fact that I know how to make way more money per hour just doing like basic stuff. Here's what I'm gonna do, guys. Once I get paid, I'm gonna take a look at all my hours as an employee, and I'm gonna calculate everything, and I'm gonna compare it to Uber and Lyft income. Because like I made a video a week ago, or maybe like 2 weeks ago, saying grass is not green on the other side. I was already like thinking about these things, and I'm thinking probably not going to make as much as I am working for Uber. Now, if I would work the same amount of time as I do for Uber and Lyft, then yeah, possibility I would make more. But then taxes get you. But I'm still commuting to work. Like I'm still commuting. I got an hour drive technically. So I'm 40 miles away from home. So both ways, that's 80 miles. So if I go to work, 5 days or whatever, so that is like what, like 200 some miles, like 240 miles or something. I've realized also I was fueling up twice per week. Every 3 days I'm fueling up. So that's when I'm at a quarter, I go ahead and fuel up. So there's still that expense that needs to be taken out of this income. So that means not only that taxes is going to be taken out a chunk, it's the money that I have spent on fuel. Now, if I'm taking lunches, well, on top of that, money would be coming out for lunch. But I've been bringing food to work, so that's a little different. I just been working straight through lunches, guys. I'll take like a 15-minute break. That's it. That's 15-minute break for lunch. Besides that, I don't even take any kind of breaks. I just work. Yes, at the end of the day, guys, I am beat. Okay, I got up at 6 today, 6 a.m. Right now it's 5:40 p.m. I still haven't made it home. So if I do a complete workday like this for Uber, I would make approximately $250 to $300. Like I would try to make $300 in 12 hours, but that doesn't always happen. It used to happen all the time for me. And then you take fuel out, so whatever the fuel expense would be. If you got a Prius hybrid, probably only costing you $35. Maybe even less. On top of all my expenses at work, I have spent so much money on tools while working there, and I'm not regretting one bit. But that also means not only that I did not make enough money, I actually did not make any money, because that money went towards tools. Whatever is even left after me taking fuel out, after me taking after taxes taking their part, whatever's left, that's still not enough to cover my tools. I have spent a lot. I probably spent, oh my gosh, probably like by now $4,500 or something. I think when I looked at my check was gonna be like $1,700 for this entire time that I worked. And that's not even considering the taxes or the fuel. Yeah, kinda ridiculous. I'm actually going to go back in time, calculate my fuel expenses ever since I started work, because that's the only thing I've been doing is just driving to work. There was nothing else I was doing. So I'm gonna calculate how much fuel I spent, and then I'm gonna find out like what is my true income. But I think being a service technician, it costs you a lot of money. Because you gotta buy all your own tools. And I don't know if they tried to mislead me when I started. I mean, I don't mind this, but I'm just imagining the fact that, let's say I was like brand new to this idea, right? As being a service technician. They literally told me, I do not need to bring any tools. I'm like, really? But normally mechanics, well, service technicians, they gotta have their own tools. They're like, not here. You get 2 toolboxes, it's full of tools that you could use. I'm like, wow, really? They're like, yep. I felt stupid having to double check because I asked several times. Yep, don't need to bring in tools. I'm like, okay, so I'm coming in Wednesday. What do I need to bring with me? Is there anything that I need to bring? Nope, just bring yourself. Okay. But I'm thinking that can't be right. It says they're hiring me as a loop tech. What I thought, because that's what they said. I definitely brought some stuff that's going to help me. I brought a 1,500 foot-pound battery-operated Hercules with 3 batteries to work. And I brought some other ratchets and things that's going to really, really help me out in other impacts. And some light, like tools, like sockets and things and wrenches, and stuff like that. So when I came there, they're like, yeah, you need to bring tools. I'm like, well, what do I bring? And this is me now talking to shop foreman. He says, bring everything you got. That is a big contrast. I guess maybe it makes sense if they're hiring me as a loop tech. Maybe tools are available for loop techs. I don't know. So maybe that's not completely misleading. But when I was getting a tour of the place, I never seen a loop tech type of floor. They were literally just showing me the entire, service department, like where the cars are being serviced. And they were pointing to like lifts and stuff. Like, yeah, you're gonna get a couple lifts. So that's where I thought loop techs worked at first. But then I realized they work in a totally different area. But yeah, in the beginning, they will throw work at you that you could like handle. They'll give you like oil changes, tire rotations. True, which I got some of that. And like brake jobs and, things of that nature. But that was like a couple jobs like that. And then I started doing warranty work. Like a lot of different stuff. Working on updating the software on everything from BCM, DCM, like radios and what have you. Like, because it went kind of quickly, which I'm glad. I am definitely glad, because I like to be challenged. Like overall, like I'm really happy that I tried this type of experience, because I got a taste of what's it like to be a service technician. And to me, like, I feel that I'm honored that I was able to work with service technicians, and I think I thrived while working there. Like, it was fine. I mean, I'm not new to cars, but there was a new environment. I had like a lot of things to learn. And overall, I'd say like I did okay. Like, I didn't struggle. Like, I'm working literally like by myself. I'm not getting any assistance. I'm just doing the work. Get the tickets and, go through the process. And even though I'm not being asked for updates, I would go and then just let the shop foreman know like what's going on. But he does not breathe down my neck. Like, he would not tell me like, oh, you need to check with me. Like, no. He lets me have my own autonomy. Like, I'm just able to work and do stuff. And he's pretty nice and just explaining like, what it would take. Like, he just trusting me. He says, you'll figure out, And of course, he wanted me to look up the procedures, how everything is done, I'll learn how to do that. And I said, I'm not afraid to look it up. I'll look it up. It's no big deal. Of course, if I'm working for myself, Like I already knew the procedures, and if there's something I didn't know, yeah, I would need to look it up. And then, if it's repetitive, then you already remember what's the procedure. But guys, I will tell you something. It is definitely a huge, huge, huge plus to be a service technician and buying all the tools, because it's kind of like an investment. You're buying all these tools. That means when you do leave this job, you can take these tools with you, and you could service your own cars, you could service your customers' cars, you could then take it to a new place that you're going to work, and you'll have tools. Or you could open up your own business. You could open up your own shop, or you could open up your own mechanics, mobile mechanic type of shop. And in the next video, I'm going to tell you my plan, how I plan to open up my own mobile mechanics type of business. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching this one. Bye-bye.